Well, we're now going to look at predictions for 2017. And I want to start with you, Laura, because you had a good 2016, predicting a year ago. Yes.
Okay, say it, Chris. Every single one of my predictions.
No, I'm not going to. But on the economy, you said it was going to bump along. You said that the former Republican presidents were going to skip the convention. I'm not going to give you high marks for saying UConn won the women's. That was kind of
Hamilton
chalk.
dominating the Trump.
No, that was kind of chalk, too. Anyway, politics, 2017.
I think Trump will nominate it and the Senate will confirm a justice on the Supreme Court who will go down as a hero to judicial conservatives, constitutionalists, perhaps Bill Pryor, perhaps Tom Lee of the Utah Supreme Court. It's going to be a great justice.
And the Democrats won't be able to block it?
No.
All right. Julie.
So I actually made a New Year's resolution to be less predictive about politics. I told my husband that because predictions did not go so well for a lot of journalists and pundits last year. So at least in keeping in the spirit of my resolution, I am going to predict that it's going to be an incredibly unpredictable year in politics.
That, I predict, will be the worst prediction I hear for 2017. Michael, help us out here.
Yeah, most legislation in the last 100 years, the progressive era, has been expanded within its first 5 to 10 years. The media said Republicans were quixotic. We were wasting time trying to repeal Obamacare. Obamacare will be repealed. Secretary of Health and Human Services Tom Price will do a great job managing the transition. Obamacare will be repealed, and the American people will have access to better health care focused on themselves and their doctors.
Juan, your prediction for politics.
That President Obama stays in the game, that he becomes a power broker inside the Democratic Party in the way that we have not seen former presidents behave in recent history. He has high approval ratings. He's going to live in your neighborhood, Chris, so he's staying in D.C.
Thank you.
And the whole issue becomes one now of legacy, and I think he's going to be very engaged. Still a young man at 55, so he's going to be very much a player.
It's very young. It's a child at 55. Economy. Laura.
Contrary to all the talk of a trade war under President Trump, we will export more goods and services in 2017 than we did in 2016. We're going to have a vigorous approach to trade, which will be more practical, pragmatic, and it'll be better for American manufacturers.
Julie?
I think we're going to see businesses continue to be eager, in some cases, to let Donald Trump take credit for decisions they're making to either bring jobs back to the U.S. or keep jobs in the U.S. It's a mutually beneficial relationship for Trump and businesses.
Even if Trump had nothing to do with it.
Even if Trump had nothing to do with it.
Michael.
Laura was right that 2016 was going to be a sluggish year. 2017 is going to turn it around. Tax reform, regulatory relief. We will have the first real GDP growth of 3% or more in 2017. In a decade, we'll have productivity gains for the first time since 2014.
Juan.
I think Janet Yellen will be out as the chair of the Fed before the end of the year. President-elect Trump said during the campaign that he thinks she's overly political, and that was before she raised the interest rates a quarter point in December. And now we have the stock market pushing up towards 20,000. I think you're going to see some real headbutting over the economy and its future under President-elect Trump.
And briefly, how will the markets react to Yellen leaving?
Not well. That's a point of anxiety for people who don't like uncertainty.
Sports. And I was going to say, I already know your prediction.
You get the camera, you get it on the Alabama pin. UConn, right, that was kind of obvious. I'm from Connecticut, UConn last year. But Nick Saban, it will now go down, I think, in Alabama lore and history as right on par with Bear Bryant. They're going to win tomorrow night against Clemson. They'll have captured their 5th national championship in 8 years. And I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be on Tucker Carlson's show tomorrow night. So I'm bummed, though, because I'm going to miss part of the game.
Oh, really? You chose television over being at a game?
I have to have Tucker. It's his first show at 9 o'clock.
Your priorities. Well, that's true. It is his first show, and we wish him good luck. Julie.
Well, this is probably more wishful thinking than actual prediction, but I'm going to go for it. My beloved Buffalo Bills will finally end their 17-year playoff drought in 2017.
Wow. Right. That is
wishful thinking.
Hope over experience.
Wishful thinking.
I love these two because they're kind of in direct conflict. Michael.
As usual, Juan is going to be wrong on his prediction.
Wow.
Injuries derailed me in 2016. I'm going to stick with it. The best pitching staff that Major League Baseball has seen since the 1990s will propel the New York Mets to win the World Series.
Juan.
The Nationals. The Washington Nationals will win the World Series this year. Dusty Baker, the manager, came in 2015. He said his job was to win a World Series. Hasn't done it yet. I think this is the moment they turn the corner because the Mets, Michael, I think their due-by date has gone.
Well, we should point out, it's not that one is going to win the World Series. They can't even get to the World Series, one or the other, because they're in the same division.
The Mets are going to knock the Nationals off far, far before the World Series.
Oh, please.
All right. Entertainment.
Oh, this is the best. Okay.
And the envelope, please.
This is, once again, a lot of the biggest movies of next year are going to feature characters that were really popular in the late 1970s for 12-year-old, 13-year-old nerdy boys. So we're going to have Wonder Woman. Yes, the new Wonder Woman. How can you ever remake Linda Carter and Wonder Woman? They're going to do Planet of the Apes, Star Wars Episode 8. It is going to be comic book central. And once again, you know, I'm sorry, but the remake Orama in Hollywood, fresh out of ideas.
Were you a nerd in the 1970s?
No, I didn't like any of those. I was a drama.
You didn't like
comedy.
Wonder Woman? I find that surprising.
No, well, not really. I wasn't that. I was like Brady Bunch, you know, all those kind of shows. But these are going to be huge movies. But the Planet of the Apes, you can't get better than Roddy McDowall in like 70. So, but they're going to try to do it again. Return to Planet of the Apes.
Wow. Okay. Julie.
Before the end of the year, I predict we're going to see Donald Trump appearing on Saturday Night Live with Alec Baldwin.
I have to tell you, since I took this show in 2003, because I have to get up early Sunday morning, I have not watched Saturday Night Live. I would stay up to watch Alec Baldwin. And can you imagine the two of them together? Michael.
The more entertainment-attuned people on my team couldn't agree whether or not Mariah Carey will have a comeback. So I'll predict Lena Dunham, who promised us she would leave this nation, will not move to Canada, and America will be forced to endure her for another year.
Oh.
I take it we're not a girls fan?
Oh.
We're not a girls fan.
Gross.
Wow.
It's such a gross show. It's disgusting.
Okay. All right. Anyway, nevertheless.
So
Juan.
I see the critics are picking Moonlight for Best Picture, but I think it's actually going to be Fences, Denzel Washington, Viola Davis. I think that's a tremendous movie and it's going to get a lot of attention. Also, you know, when it comes to Best Actress, Natalie Portman and her portrayal of Jackie Kennedy, it's going to stir a lot of nostalgia about Camelot, the Kennedys in this era.
Well, I hate to say this, but just as Michael said, you're wrong. It'll be La La Land, which wins Best Picture, and the Golden Globes are tonight. No, it was good. I'm sorry. Have you seen it?
Yeah. I mean, just save your time and watch Singing in the Rain. People can actually sing and dance.
And Debbie Reynolds is in it. Panel, we have to take a final break. When we come back, we'll get one more prediction from each of you for 2017. As we begin the new year, we're asking our panel what they see ahead for 2017. Now time for one final prediction, your pick for the person to watch this year. And as we told them, you cannot pick Donald Trump. Laura.
Jeff Sessions. He'll be confirmed as Attorney General of the United States.
And why him over the other cabinet picks?
Because I think we have so many really, really big issues and criminal justice issues, criminal civil division. He's going to root out, I think, ultimately the politicization of DOJ, which has been terrible in recent years. He is a man to watch, and he'll be a phenomenal Attorney General.
Julie, one to watch for 2017.
Picking up on one of Juan's predictions, my person to watch is Barack Obama. He's going to be living in Washington. He has talked a lot about appreciating the way that George W. Bush handled his post-presidency, staying quiet, not questioning his decisions. But I think that he's going to face a lot of pressure from Democrats to speak out against Trump.
Michael.
Stephen Miller is Donald Trump's senior advisor for policy. He was one of the first people in Washington, D.C. to identify, to understand the forces that really disrupted our politics in 2015, 2016. He's going to have a huge impact on policy inside the administration.
Juan?
South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg. I always have trouble with his last name, but he is a Harvard grad, Rhodes Scholar, Navy officer, served in Afghanistan. And President Obama has identified him as one of the party's future stars at a time when the party lacks a strong bench. He's running for Democratic National Committee chair against Keith Ellison. Tom Perez. He offers a different look, a gay guy from the
yes or
middle of
no?
the
Is he going to? Will he win DNC chair?
I don't know the answer to that, Chris.
Okay, well, there we go. That's a definite maybe. Panel, thank you. We'll lock all these predictions in a vault, or maybe we'll just stick them on a shelf somewhere, and we'll check back next year to see how you all did. That's it for today. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Fox News Sunday.